Get my whiteboard out of the way here. Apologize for that. Where's that thing? There we go. So I've been busy. I've got, just thinking about it this morning, because I've got roofers around the corner putting on a roof. I've got concrete guys tearing out a driveway, putting in a new driveway on a house I bought 2 weeks ago. Somebody else I got somewhere else. Who else? I don't know. I think I got a welder working on a water reclamation system, which is kind of interesting. I'll show you guys some of that sometime. What else? There's one more. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But hey, you know what? Give me your problems. If any real estate problems you got, I'd love to hear them. I realize I get pretty bored. I mean, this is probably why I like mentoring so much, is because that's really primarily what I do, is problem solve, or just from experience, to take people through whatever they're dealing with. Hey, if you just got here, be sure to get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Most of you already know that are watching, but if you just got here, look, I've been buying and selling every kind of real estate you can imagine over the last 43 years. Hard to believe. I was thinking about that. I'm going to have 50 years. I'll be in my 60s, but I'll have 50. No, I'll be in my, will I be? Is that possible? I guess I'll be 69 and I'll have 50 years experience. I mean, I'm not 69 yet, but anyways, I don't know what you guys got going or anybody concerned about anything, but I'd love to hear about it. We can, if you got something you want to concerned about, we can take a look at any property you got, or we can go watch a video. It don't matter. I'll come right back, but for now, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys here in a minute.
And listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil.
What's going on here? Oh, well. All right. Anyways, what's on your mind? Anybody, whatever you got. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Son, that light just went out. I don't know why. Probably we're cleaning it. We got somebody sweeping over here. Probably that happened. But what are you guys concerned with? I don't know. I don't even really want to talk about the fake gurus, but there's so much of it out there. I mean, it just seems like everybody's changed gears. All of a sudden, there's 10 times more people all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork. The fake gurus that were selling real estate stuff, they're kind of shifting gears into different things, just heavy on education and very, very little low information on deals. And that's what I've always said all along. I said, you'll see the fake gurus scatter when times get tough because they don't know how to invest. They're retail investors. They can take a certain amount of money from the monies they make on courses, and then they'll, they can, that's just part of the prop to convince people they know what they're doing, even though most of them do not know what they're doing. And, does anybody here, tell me about Brandon, Beardy Brandon, what's his name? Brandon Turner. So I saw something, I thought it was kind of a weird advertising on his part. This is a Grant Cardone flick. Let's see, look at this other one. Brandon Turner. Because, I don't know anything about him other than I know he's on Bigger Pockets. And, he's just kind of a talk guy on there. And then all of a sudden, he comes out and he's go from $3 million to 11,000 doors or something like that, which I always think that's odd to say, I went from $3 million to 11,000 doors. I mean, why wouldn't you quantify it in the same kind of chattel, right? When you talk about, why wouldn't I? Why would 3 million to like what? Half a billion? Not 3 million to 11,000 doors. It just makes me think that he doesn't own 11,000 doors. It makes me think that he is a partner, maybe in a very, very minor way on 11,000 doors. I don't know. But maybe you guys know. But again, and let me bring this up. I can show you. Yeah, here he is. So best real estate investing strategy. I just don't understand what his exact real estate chops and history is. And, other than, I like to show deals. I like to see money. I like to see money made. People that can't talk about what they've done, it's because they usually haven't done anything that they're proud of or that is relevant to people watching. And so, Brandon, if you're watching, I'd love to interview you. I don't know you, but I know that you were well received on your Bigger Pockets thing. I caught a little piece of an interview with you where you left Bigger Pockets and basically kind of wanting to own your own thing. But I didn't see any real estate expertise. It just sounded like you learned the operations. And in Bigger Pockets, I've always thought they're just kind of a mass outlet for real estate. A lot of real estate con guys, to be honest. There's a lot of people in Bigger Pockets that seem to have a presence there that don't know shit about real estate other than trying to sell courses. Hey, Russ, how you doing? I just I like real problems, I like to talk about real money making stuff. I was thinking about this because we're kind of going into a tough time again here. And I was interviewed not long ago on the, I did a video with, what's his name, son? Oh, okay, it's just skipping my mind. Sorry. No. Oh gosh, what's his name? Oh, One Rental at a Time. Sorry, Michael Zuber. That Z name throws me. Anyhow, he had mentioned the RTC. And for those the Resolution Trust Corporation, when everything was going back to the banks, there was a time back in the late 80s and early 90s where just so much real estate had gone back to the banks, the people went belly up. And, I had a property that I bought for $340,000 that had previously been sold for $550,000, and then before that $750,000, and then before that I think $1.2 million. It was like a stair-step recession is what I call it, because people kept thinking, oh wait, great, I got a great deal, and then things got worse. And then the next guy jumped in, oh, I got a great deal, and then things got worse. And I picked it up for $340,000, and I sold that for about $2 million, that particular property. Oh, hey, Russ, thanks for helping. But no, it wasn't. Yeah, Mike Zuber, you're right. That is right. Anyways, I don't know. Anybody got anybody they want to look at or scrutinize, or it doesn't have to be fake guru. It could be good information. I don't care. Ben Mala, I know he's, trying to get rid of his portfolio. I was actually looking at stuff so he had for sale, and of course he's got a, full retail, which I don't think is going to happen. And that's really the worst thing you can be caught in, is having to sell your assets when interest is as high as it is right now. You're just not going to get a good return. You're just not. It's just the money's too expensive. It's why he can't buy, and it's why he's explained why he has to sell. And I just think about, fortunately, everybody in my class in my mentorship. And nobody that I'm aware of is hurting at all. Everybody's always looking for a new deal. Russ has actually made some fantastic deals, who's in here right now. Liam just bought another property last week, which is going to be the third this year, and he's probably going to have a $700,000 to $1 million a year this year, which is really great. I'm really, really proud of Liam. He's just a hard worker. He's a carpenter like me. And boy, but he's a good one too. You can see it in the class. You can see how much he's gotten done in a very short amount of time. He's on top of his job, which, by the way, construction, if you're I'm a general contractor. I only do my own work now, but if you're a good general contractor, you can be a fantastic real estate investor, because it really is. Or, and there's a lot of people that schedule, that do things. If you're a good organized person, and it's not just as simple as just being organized, but you got to have some skills, and you can learn those skills. But if you're an organized person, and Russ is a good example of being an organized person, and he's somebody in the class that's, he wanted to get into commercial real estate, and very quickly he learned a lot of what he wanted to know, and he's made a couple $1 million, and he's there. Orlando wrote, as always, you just have to find the deals. Yeah, you got to find the deals, but you can be like a deer caught in the headlights. You can find a deal and you don't know what to do, or you don't know it's a deal. That's the worst thing. I have an example of when I blew it on. I just started getting into this area, and wouldn't you know it, like the first person I talked to had an offer for me, had a fantastic deal. I was the first one there, but I didn't know what values were worth. I just didn't know value in that moment. And it cost me $250,000 back in other words, say it cost me, that means I didn't make the money. I could have made $200,000. Could have bought a beach house right on Ocean Drive for 200, what was it? 250 owner finance, 50,000 down. And the reason I just wasn't prepared. In fact, I can show you guys the problem. In all honesty, I can't remember the exact address now, but I can kind of sort of show you. But in other words, it doesn't even matter what the property is, but it was a house, we call it Channel Islands, but technically it's Oxnard, California, right next to Ventura. But I like telling the story. And hey, by the way, if you just got here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, but don't miss this, because seriously, I actually have a gift for everybody that sends their email. Go in here to flipanythingusa.com, and you can just go to apply for mentorship right here. I need your email to do something for you, to give it to you, or hit the webinar button, and you can go in and you can sign up for the webinar, right? And the webinar may be something I just mail you, but the bottom line is I'll have a gift for you. But just fill this out, put your email in there, your phone number, you can put it in there if you want. I'll text you the link. But I would just tell you, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Remember that. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. These are things that I like to tell people. A lot of people sit on the fence, or chronically, paralyzed by analysis, and they're going nowhere. Their bank account is building. And if they just had a clue what to do with their money, they would be making so much more money. Listen, you can make 20% on a real estate investment, but if it's the only piece of property, it's the first one you ever buy, and that's all you do, you're going down the tubes. It's just never going to go anywhere, because in the beginning you have to rotate, you have to flip, because you can make $50,000 with $10,000, and then what do? You're going to sit on that $50,000 equity? Doesn't make any sense. You just took 10,000 and turned it into 50, made 500% on your money, and now you're going to decide to retire? Doesn't work. I mean, if you want to really get ahead, that's not the way to do it. You want to, sell it, take your money, do it again. Now take that 30, 40, or whatever's left after taxes, if you pay taxes on it, and do it again. And now you got maybe 150, right? That's how I did it. I really only explain what I did and how I did it, and that's kind of what I do in my webinars. I show you, but it was this is where that beach house was. And by the way, even though I didn't get the beach house that I that day, I lost it, because I just didn't know quite what I was doing. I didn't know value. That was the biggest problem, but I made up for it. I did get another one later on here, and that's the other thing. If you've ever been in business for yourself, it's the toughest thing in the world, especially if you're a retailer, which I'd hate to be a retailer, to be honest, but you're counting on traffic coming in the door, and you do what you do to advertise and bring people in the door. But sometimes you're like, am I going to get another customer? You get worried when you have dry spells, or if you're a contractor like me, especially when you're brand new. You're soliciting work, and as soon as you stop soliciting, people don't know about you. You got to be discovered. You got to make people know who you are. But you start to worry that it won't come in. But once you get established, you don't worry about that stuff as much. You go on, it'll happen. Somebody will come. Well, that's how it is with real estate. Once you've done, 10 deals or 5 deals even, you'll feel better, but 10 will make you feel better. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, more than 100 I've done, you realize, damn it, I missed that, but you know what? Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get the same property in another 5 or 10 years. That happens too, by the way, if you've been doing it long enough. So look, Orlando, Russ, Ada, anybody? Grant, you guys got anything on your mind? Anything, you want to talk about, we can visit or take a look at? I was talking about to Mike Zuber about the doomers. And like I say, I have no clue about Beardy Brandon here. If you guys know, I'd be interested to know. Seems like a nice enough guy, but I don't know that he's got a ton of experience. I really don't. And so I wonder, because it's those weird, I went from 3 million to 11,000 doors. You know what I mean? I mean, I talk about, making tens of millions of dollars, and I quickly show the assets, that I used to make my first million in my 20s, and how I went on to, make tens of millions, in another completely different area. And I show the assets. Every one of those blue dots is one of my properties. Let's see, Dimitri wrote, Tom, do you also provide training on commercial land? Yeah. I've done hundreds of residential land deals where I got big discounts for solving title problems. Yeah, that's a nice niche. And would like to do the same for commercial. Listen, land's land, Dimitri. It really doesn't matter. I tell like agents, the agent wants to become an agent. I tell them, sell land. And you don't even really necessarily have to know that much about what you're doing. You should. I mean, you should, and I'll explain why in a minute. But the people that are shopping for land, the guys that are looking for land to develop, they know 10 times more than an agent. I mean, 100 times more. Okay, they know what's important. They know where the utilities are. They know what's coming. They understand the zoning. They know what they can do, what they can't do. They know if there's flood zone. They know everything about the property when they start to shop that particular area, or they're going to ask all the questions. And if you're an agent, immersed in that sort of thing, you're going to quickly get an education on land if you're dealing with somebody that buys a lot, because it's, if you pay attention. If you don't pay attention, it'll go right over your head. But that is a huge thing. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Dimitri, I flipped every kind of land you can imagine. I have a lot of commercial property. I don't develop so much anymore. I'll show you the last, what would be kind of a commercial development property that I built. Let's see, is it this one? I built this building back in 2002, and this is just a nice corner in a, affluent area, and this has the normal stuff. There's a detention pond in here, with pumps and stainless steel pumps that pump the overflow across the street into a ditch, irrigation ditch over here. In fact, when I put in this irrigation ditch and ran the stuff over here, ended up fracturing a 7,000 trunk line, pair trunk line for phones, and it ended up costing me $3,500. I had to split $7,000 with AT&T to pay for that little bit of damage, that's Dimitri. Listen, a lot of people that come into my class, that's what they come into. Russ, who's in here earlier, I don't know if he's still in here. That was his prime concern. He wanted to change his game from houses, which he'd done very well in, and he wanted to up his game and get more into commercial. So did Russ in my class. I'm sorry, not just Russ, but Ken Bucho, Rich, and I've got others too. And I'm actually helping a student today with that very thing. And the thing about commercial and industrial, it's wonderful in comparison. And I'll just give you an example. So like here's an office, right? Now an office has some carpet and stuff. If you have a single tenant, that's different. You have multi-tenants, and that can be a little bit more issues. But the thing is what's beautiful is a shell. So look, I have probably 60, 70,000 square feet just on this street alone. But here's a 20,000 square foot building. I deliver an empty shell, right? In other words, it's just an empty, what we call a white box. A white box is, you walk in the door and it's just white. In other words, the walls are white, the ceiling's white because it's a suspended ceiling. The floor may be something on there, whatever the last tenant had, or maybe nothing. I'll leave when I get a vacant tenant, whether it's commercial or a flex space or industrial, anything that I think potentially could be an asset for somebody coming in behind them, I'll leave it there. And case in point, I have a vape shop that went out of business that rented from me for quite a while. They quit business, and I left their stuff. I left their cases inside the building and everything else. And guess what? A vape shop came in and rented it from me, and all those cases that they left behind are filled with bongs and paraphernalia of different types for whatever, smoking vape and different things. So and it's like, yeah, hey, have at it. I make it. You treat your customers your tenants like customers, and you'll have them forever. And you, really, the success is shared. So Grant just wrote, in Phoenix, I'm seeing inventory building, but not very much. A lot of people are canceling their listings or waiting for their price. Yeah. And so, that's the interesting thing. So, I have a chapter in my book. If you don't have my book, everybody here, I don't care how long you've been doing it, you can see it off to my right or left here on the screen. You want to definitely get a copy of Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. I have in particular, which really is a valid thing to consider right now, is leapfrogging. You jump ahead and you lower your price in order to get attention to it. Let it be the cheapest on the market. It'll get bid up a little bit. It'll sell, and then a few months go by in a declining market, like I think we are in most areas. By the time your deal closes, it's going to be that low anyways. So let's see. A lot of people waiting to see what happens with elections. Yeah, I don't. I get it. To be honest, I think things will be really, really great if we get rid of this old crap that we have in there now. And it's been a disaster. For the last 4 years, it's just been an absolute disaster. I had no idea they could fuck things up so bad in such a short amount of time. I really thought that all the good things that had happened in the prior administration, I thought that it'd be hard to screw it up. But when you tear the border down and take in 20 million, illegals, and then just overburden our system, the schools are overburdened. I have a girlfriend that's a school teacher, and she's got kids that don't even know the letter sounds coming into class. She's got teachers and her parents that come in that can't speak English. She's bilingual, but I'm talking, we got them from everywhere. Haitian, Salvadoran, just everywhere. Just name it. There's somebody here from another country, and they're coming through Mexico, which is really odd. But the thing is, we're in deep shit, and you can see these latest floods that we have. It looks like they spent all the FEMA money. They just took that cash because they needed the money to handle all the influx of people coming into the country. And now, now when the money's needed for the people that have been paying taxes for 50 years, it ain't there. So it's a discouraging time. I was wanting to talk about it, actually, and this is something we could think about. Maybe it's one of you guys can remember. There's a town where they just dropped 2,000 Haitians into a little community. Now all of a sudden, where they have a couple pregnancies a month. They have 63 pregnancies this month, primarily foreigners. So you've got the hospitals are overburdened. We typically, most of us, right, we schedule an appointment with a doctor, and we go see a doctor of a different kind. Well, people that come into the country that don't understand how our medical stuff goes, they just go to the emergency room. So the emergency rooms are just jam-packed and plugged with people coming in with a headache or a cold or a boo-boo, whatever. And so it's really putting huge strains on a lot of our communities. And, you may not have it in your area. You may not see it. You may not feel it. You may not have it. But guess what? You're next. It's going to happen. You are going to feel it one way or another. Because a lot of people, they're very apathetic. They don't give a shit. That's there. That's not here. Or, so they just kind of blindly think, well, but you know what? There's I forget what the saying is, but it's when they start coming for you, then you start getting interested. But then it's too late to help yourself. Yeah, Springfield. Thanks, but thank you. So let's check that out. Springfield. That's actually. Let's go to. Let's look up Springfield. Makes me think of The Simpsons. Let's see. YouTube is not showing the best or the worst of Springfield. Right? Is that what it is, Springfield? No, Springfield, Ohio. Oh, I guess I could have spelled that better. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I was just in here watching the other day, and I saw a special of some sort, and the people are saying they're just beside themselves. They're going, look, we got all kinds of foreigners running around. They're not working. They have brand new cars, brand new clothes, and some kind of odd styles for most of their, just kind of feel like they've been invaded from another planet because they got people that are definitely looking like they're from another country. brand new clothes, on the phone all the time, walking the streets because they ain't got jobs. And they don't seem to have any problem with money. They're getting cars, but they don't know how to drive. They can anybody can get a license. You know, it's not like you or I, you know, we got to actually have to pass a test. You go down there and just stick your hand up and they give you a license and, you know, get help for a car. And next thing you know, you're running into somebody and maybe you don't even have insurance. So, you know, these things, but I wanted to look at Springfield. Let's just go to LoopNet for the hell of it. Because I wonder what has happened with commercial property in Springfield, Illinois. I'm sorry, Springfield, Ohio. So here we are. Get my eyes on here. Lease rate. Not a really big town, I guess. But that's $2 a foot. That's about normal. That's $1.50 a foot. That seems a little bit cheap for a Rite Aid. You know, that's the other thing. You're seeing a lot of places closed. This Rite Aid, I'm assuming, is closed, or maybe ghosted. By the way, that's something we're seeing a lot more of too. You'll see stores like a Rite Aid or you know, different established stores that we all recognize, and they're closed, but they're still paying rent because they're still under a lease, but they found it's not worth being open in certain areas. Yeah, so this building is empty. You know, it's got some cars in front of it, but it's saying retail space available. And, you know, so you're seeing areas that have nice established businesses that are really you know, a benefit to the area, and they're saying, we're out of here. For theft, you know, like, you know, the Walgreens and different places that are getting, you know, robbed in, you know, areas where the blue cities, where they tend to let them, you know, steal up to $900 and not go to jail. I mean, there's just all kinds of crazy crap where they, you know, the police have no rights, it would seem, and then, you know, things are going to hell. But yeah, but I would hate to own property. You know, think about that. Owning a property where, you know, you see people, you know, like you hear the flash mobs, right? In fact, that's actually something we should take a look at real quick here. Flash mob theft, right? Because this is like a widespread thing here. So look at this. Oh my God, is that Topanga? This is Los Angeles. Let's look at Topanga is a nice area. And look at that. Man, wouldn't you like to have a shotgun there? And this guy works here probably. Look at that. So imagine you're the landlord. Forget the business. But you know you're going to lose your tenant and you're not going to get another one in their place. I don't know. Anybody got any thoughts on that? Downtown San Francisco retail shops have closed exponentially up. Not to mention the rabid crime and larceny. Yeah, I flew into Oakland. I was going to Napa, and when I got in there, I got my car in Oakland. They said, please don't park in the area. In fact, you know what people are doing in Oakland? If they have to park outside or in front of an apartment, they leave a window down just so the car can be ransacked, but they don't break a window. Because otherwise they bust windows, and then, you know, they get nothing, and then they leave the car alone. So they just leave the window open so they can look in, and you know, yeah, go ahead and take what you want if there's anything here you want, but otherwise, yeah, this might be interesting.
And that's what they started going at him with. Now, in the video, you can see the commotion there. At the beginning, there's two masked men trying to get into the 7-Eleven store off of Knott Avenue. This happening Sunday morning. And then you see the store owner, again, struggling to keep those doors closed as a third individual tries to get in. Then the guy in the gray hoodie comes back and threatens the...
Yeah, so, you know, like I say, it's just a nightmare. Now, and the sad part is, you know, people are afraid to shoot people like that because they're afraid they're going to end up ruining their life, even though you have every right to shoot somebody that's threatening you like this. But and the cops too. The cops don't even want to come and enforce. A lot of times, cops won't even come now unless there's other cops with them. They have a bunch of cops with them because they just don't want the problems. They want to have more people with them. So yeah, it's just becoming, very undesirable. But like I say, you don't want to own property in a blue city. Oh, I own property in a blue city, but I'm in Texas too, so it's surrounded by red. So there's not quite the crazy chaos that you have in other places. What Dimitri wrote, crime in the U.S. is very high compared to Western Europe. Yep. I agree, Dimitri, especially with countries with, closed borders like Poland. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I know they're having some issues in places, but not necessarily flash mobs. They got other problems. But I don't know. The thing is, we have a wonderful country where people come here. I know firsthand because just not only that I've had tremendous success in the USA, but I've had people coming in that rent from me. I have hundreds of rentals, and I have people that come in and they're making a business, whether it's a food park or somebody renting a regular building for some other purpose. They're building businesses here, and they see the opportunity to do so where they couldn't do it in their own country. And then there's a lot of folks here that have been born and raised here. And this is one of the things I like to say. When you come from poor parents, or if you come from very meager beginnings, I did. It makes you stronger. It makes you hungrier. It makes you work harder. Where if somebody's kind of born into comfort, they're kind of a little more complacent. They don't have quite the drive, and so I was actually watching a thing on Vince McMahon, the WWE guy, WWF guy, whatever it is, and his dad, he didn't even met his dad until he was 12 years old, but man, he worked his ass off and built $1 billion empire, and that's not uncommon, like I say, I wouldn't have worked so hard if I had such a rough childhood, and I probably wouldn't have been motivated to make the money, and I probably wouldn't have been. It took me a long time to feel like, okay, I got enough. It took me a long time. I had way more than enough before I ever said, well, okay, I feel good now. But I could have felt good decades before that. And, Manny Koshman's another guy that come from super humble beginnings. I think Ben Mall, kind of the same thing. And, and so you get more into some people that create some super wealth from those disadvantages. Dimitri wrote, America always does well. Yeah. We have some sinister forces out there, Dimitri, that we just never had to deal with before. This idea that you can steal up to $900 dollars worth of merchandise a day or per crime is insane. And we've never had such a problem with illegal immigration as we do right now. And you just got people. That's this problem. In general, America, the people that run for office are not the best and brightest, whether it's local city council, that sort of thing. You might get somebody kind of sharp that takes the mayor spot, but in large, most of the people sitting on the council are not that bright. And there's a reason for that. Smarter people can make more money in private practice, but it's tempting for somebody to go after that spot because, if you're somebody that wants to corrupt them, they're easier to corrupt with money and by influence with, and so that's why public office, unfortunately, is usually made up of people that can be easily corrupted. You can kind of see it everywhere. You can see it in Washington. I remember listening to Trump talking. He was talking about you give $5,000 or $10,000 to a senator. You're that's a monstrous donation. That's a monstrous donation. And a lot of times even 1,000 is considered big to those guys. But you wouldn't think so, so you can buy millions of dollars of influence with pennies practically. So that's it. I personally, like I say, here's a Rite Aid closing, and this one's in Springfield, Ohio. Is it related? to just diminishing returns, and I don't know why, but just too many places like this. But let's talk about I don't know, where things are good. Anybody want to look at some property somewhere else? We can. Just say so. I don't know. Let's look at Houston, Texas. And let's look at stuff for sale. What are you guys interested in? Commercial? You want to look at retail? You want to look at industrial flex? Let's look at some. Let's look at industrial. Building size. We'll start at 12,000 square feet. Cuts it down a little bit. So now that actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, I don't know, without knowing the area, but $100 a foot, in general, last time I was really buying industrial property, I could deal with $80 a foot. Everything, $100 a foot for the building, $1 a foot for the property, right? So you get $120,000 a year, on a 10,000 square foot rental. That can work. So, and here's one that's kind of falls right in there. But, let's take a look at it. Yeah, it looks pretty remote, right? Let's look at this a little better. Looks like it's quite remote, right? But it's got a decent, it's not in an industrial park. See, this is why it's $100 a foot and not $150. Because like $150 is like what we used to see. Where you'd see 80. So here's 15,000 square feet. That sounds super cheap. That sounds reasonable. Let's take a look at this one. Now I'm going to guess already there's not going to be much parking. Let's see if we can get an overview. Not too bad. So let's go take a look at it from the sky here. So this is the property we're looking at. Let me pull it up again. All right, so this is the one we were just looking at right here. It looks a little bit rough. Let's take a look at it. Actually looks a lot better in the. This is the property here. It says 4934 Acorn Street, $1,004,000. Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I like the price just for the per square footage. That's it's in the ballpark. It sounds like something off the top of my head. Oh yeah, maybe I could make that work. And this is it again. Boy, it sure looks different here. I get the impression you get to see both sides of it. Nah, they're just shooting it from the one side. All right, now let's go take a look at Google Earth. Oh, okay. It looks better. Looks better than it did from the sky. But again, kind of remote, right? Look what's across from this. In other words, it doesn't have any kind of like retail frontage, like where you might put a tire place, that sort of thing. What else? Let's look. Let's see. It's got 220. I don't see three-phase, but it looks like it has 220. All right, let's find another one. Industrial flex. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Russ here knows, and he's got some too. Industrial flex property. I love flex properties. I have a lot of them. A flex property is one that you could use for industrial, but also you could use it for a lot of office too. In other words, comfortable enough, air conditioned, you can use it for office. May not be ideal office, in other words, it may not be super clean looking, but it's versatile. And let me tell you, versatility is a huge thing, especially in tough times. This one's $5 million. This is under $100 a foot. Let's look at this one. So it's these three little, or this little building, these two big ones. Let's see if it has loading docks. Can't really tell. No, can't tell. 4.8 acres. That's a big lot. That doesn't even seem possible. Wow. So here's something I like about this property. It was built long enough that you can see that there's no water retention. In other words, you don't see a little swimming pool like thing in the ground taken in. You don't see a lot of grass area. There's no way is that 5 acres. Where are they getting that? That can't be 5 acres. No. Maybe. I don't think so. But oh, they got a little more piece of land back here. I see. See this little red back here in the back? That's where the other land is. Let me pull that up a little bit better. Yeah, see, it looks like they got a little bit of land back here as well. Yeah, it looks fairly busy. It looks like it's well located. You know, there's probably a lot of industrial. So yeah. This might be decent. You know, again, what I don't like about this property, just I'll share with you is, you know, when you got a warehouse, it's ideally you have access to the front and back, you know, so you can have like, receivables coming in, your shipping, you know, you got kind of an in and an outdoor, and this doesn't really have it. Everything's got to kind of come in the front and come back out the front. You know, unless you have one tenant that kind of all comes in one end and then kind of goes down, comes out the other. That's workable, but I don't like not having access to both sides of the building. So a little bit of a negative there. And I have properties like that, and I keep them rented, and they're fine. But I use them in a little bit more of a flex type. They're kind of like a flex retail in my situation. Billiard factory, that's interesting. So I actually have a pretty big billiard business in one of my buildings, and my building is about the same size as this, a little bit smaller. I'm guessing they're just a warehouse of pool tables. I don't think they manufacture it there. It says distribution, yeah. So like this, and I love buildings like this. High ceilings, they can put a lot of inventory in there. Big doors, you can, you know, I don't see any loading docks, but yeah, see what they did, and I've done this. See this? That's a subterranean loading dock. In other words, they wanted to have one door that was dock height, so they kind of cut it down into the ground there. I'll show you a property that I own, I still own right now, that 2 addresses in there. And it very similar in as much as needed a, this is the subterranean, see that? Cut a little pocket out of the ground, drop it about, 42 inches and 30 feet from here to here. And then that way the trucks can hit these bumpers and they can use a ramp or a flat thing and roll it through. But let's see. But this building's got some real pluses over mine, and it's got the building height, which is really, really important. So, what was the price on that one? Oh, $175 a foot. See, now this is the difference. So here's your $175 a foot, right? And here's your, $97 a foot or $105 a foot. The other one here, this was $97, right, a foot. And then back to where we were, $175 a foot right there. So anyways, hey, a lot of ways to make money. And if you want to get a free gift and you want to get some free training, go to flipanythingusa.com right here and just click on right here. Click on the webinar. Or you can also apply for mentorship, which I recommend you do. But the main thing is just fill out that little form. So I've got your email, and I will send you something that you will be very happy to have. And I appreciate you guys watching. And anyways, we'll catch you next time.
Listen, time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.